This week we head into the depths of the Abyss, as mods John C., Ronan, and Ghost take us for a quick preview of the soon-to-come new Slayer boss, the Abyssal Sire.
Slayer is without a doubt one of the most popular skills in Old School, if not the most popular skill in Old School. And last year at RuneFest we promised a big splashy Slayer update for 2015. So far we've had a bunch of Slayer quality of life changes as well as Cerberus, and the Abyssal Sire is going to be a nice way to top it all off.
We went with the Abyssal boss because the Abyssal Demon's quite iconic in terms of Slayer. It's the level 85 benchmark that everyone sort of aims for to get those whip drops. And this takes it to that next level where getting to 85 is just that little bit more rewarding and a little bit more fun.
When I first designed this boss, I found it was better to actually research the Abyss and find out where it actually comes from. I actually built some lore around the boss as opposed to just creating a simple boss. So looking at the Abyss, I found it looks sort of biological. So with the boss's environment, I wanted players to be able to travel deeper into this environment, almost like travelling down the throat of someone into the internal organs. I didn't really want to go outside of the game too much looking for inspirations because I feel that Old School is vast enough to actually work with what we've got. That way it also ties into the rest of the game and it just feels more like it's part of Old School as opposed to something that's been brought in from an external source. As well as designing the environment and the boss, I've also designed the boss mechanics. It's not just going to be one of those bosses that you run up to and attack. There will be several stages to the fight and there'll be various parts of the environment that you also have to interact with, and there'll be lots of surprises that are sprung upon the player as each stage progresses too.
The Abyssal Sire is going to be quite a challenging boss. The other three Slayer bosses aren't too difficult once you learn the mechanics, but the Abyssal Sire is going to be a bit different. You're going to need more than one combat style and you're going to need to pay attention in order to kill it.
So when you first see it on screen, you'll see its legs are tucked underneath it. It'll be in a specific stage, one of three, but as it unfolds and comes out of that, you'll see its legs spread out and you actually get a sense of the scale of the creature. When you compare it to NPCs like Jad, it's not as tall and it doesn't fill out the space as much, but it's certainly got more space for manoeuvrability, which is very important to me because it means the animations can flow a lot easier. It doesn't appear so static. Initially the community wasn't too keen on the rotund appearance of the Abyssal boss. They felt like it should look very sort of skeletal, almost like the Abyssal Demons. But with the Abyssal Sire I wanted to kind of create something that felt similar in some respects, but also something that was fresh and new and kind of drastically different in others. So I decided to make it large because it would have a portal inside it more than anything, but at the time I obviously couldn't reveal those sort of spoilers to people. When I looked at the Old School environment in the past, with old assets that have been created, I often found that polygons were wasted where you couldn't even see them. They were just used in the model editor and then scaled down to be forgotten about almost by the person viewing the game. What I've decided to do is even out this distribution so we have a more even level of detail spread throughout the environment. This appears more detailed, but it's actually using about 60% of the polygons that are used in most areas of Old School Runescape.
The key drops from the boss are going to be the Abyssal Bludgeon and the Abyssal Dagger. The Bludgeon will be dropped in 3 parts and it is essentially a crushed version of the whip. The Dagger is pretty much a souped up version of the DDS. It will have a slightly different special attack that will give you more chance of big combos, and the standard attacks of the Dagger are probably going to be comparable to a slightly weaker Hasta.
There is going to be a lot of lore in this environment. I know it's just a boss, but at the same time I always think lore is very important to make it feel grounded within the world. So it's not going to be the only demon in the Abyss. There will be a new character that's introduced and it will be a character which the player will have to continually interact with. I can't tell you too much about this, but the Abyssal Sire isn't the only demon that's going to be present in this new area of the Abyss.
So there you have it. You can expect to see the Abyssal Sire in-game this Thursday, so prepare yourself, because this is a big one.
We offered you guys some new Slayer bosses because last year we launched the first 2 in the thermonuclear snow.
And so it begins.
And the Kraken were extremely popular last year, so recently you've had somehow had 85 Slayer. Oh, I don't like that actually.
Slayer is without a doubt one of the most popular skills in Old School, if not the most popular skill. I looked on camera, didn't I? Without a doubt one of the most... Now I can't remember the damn word I said. And this is a nice flashy way. And now we've got the Abyssal Sire to come in and now we've got the
Go deeper into this area which were otherwise concealed from them before. Right, I'll try that again. So players can go into this area which with when the Abyss was sealed, when the Chthonians were cast down from, where was it? Oh, no swearing, no swearing. And that way it also ties into, whoa, that's bad, wasn't it? Tur. You didn't say that wasn't recording then, did you?
Okay, right, cool. Yeah.